Hello and welcome back to my channel, and today's channel video is also another super short video. I'm sorry it's short, but I am doing a lot of journaling in here actually. So firstly I'll explain the lighting. First of all, I'm journaling in the dark. It's pitch black everywhere else because we had load shedding. In my country has load shedding like every day, so it's difficult to find time to film, so I just decided to try it in the dark. So this is how it turned out. If you like it, you can tell me so I can journal more in the dark. So anyways, so firstly what I did was I had this page which was the planning of this journal, like the design of it and stuff. I usually don't do that, but for this journal I just decided to sit down and like sketch out how I'm gonna make the journal and everything. So I had that, and I just stapled 2 pages which were blank and made it a pocket and tucked that in there. So like for future reference I can use the ideas, because I ended up not doing it exactly that way. So there were a few oh my god, okay, sorry for that. So there were a few ideas which I didn't end up using, which are still on the page, so I can use it in the future, especially if I want to make another gatefold journal. So I chose a project life card. It said create, and I thought it was perfect because I made the journal myself from scratch. And then I don't even know what I wrote on there, but I wrote and tucked that in. Then moving on to the next spread. So earlier I cut off a piece of a box of hair dye, and this bluish page, I already knew I was going to use it. It's like the perfect page for like this spread, because that's exactly the color of the dye, or more like that's the color my hair turned out, even though that's not what the box showed. But yeah, so I was going to do it on the other page, and then I found that those flowers went really well with the gold on the box too. So I went with that page instead, and I just stapled the box. It was just the top flap part of the box, because the rest of the box still has other things in it. So I just stapled the top of it, and then the receipt of that purchase was double-sided taped onto the page directly, because my glue stick wasn't in reach, so I was just lazy to go fetch it. And then I was looking through some pattern papers to do my actual journaling on, because the flower paper on the other side is too busy and it's pretty, and I don't want to cover it up with anything else. So I chose this white patterned lined paper, and yeah, that's the page I'm gonna do my journaling on. Oh yeah, and then this is a pretty washi I bought from Shein. It's part of my haul, and I've been dying for this one, and I'm so happy I could finally use it also. So that went there on the top because the color was just perfect. And then on that paper I decided to be a bit extra, and I made lines on it. I drew orange lines on it to journal on, because it just added an element of color besides like the blue I was gonna write in. So yeah, I bought the blue gel pen, which is also the same blue of the paper. I did the writing and told the whole story. It's chaotic and the color didn't come out how I wanted it, but it's fine. Then I just paper clipped it onto the page, and then I wanted to keep it like a flap, but it was too flappy, so I just closed it shut with the paper clip. That's fine. Anyways, I think the lights are back now, and then I'm gonna move on to okay, no, I'm not. So I'm just add on a little label at the bottom, because it also adds like some bluish color onto the page. And I think now I'm gonna move. Oh yeah, I am gonna move on to the next page. So this is the rest of the ephemera I have. It's also from real life stuff. So I'm looking for a page. I do admit that looking for a page in this sort of journal is more like challenging, because now the amount of papers you're searching through is doubled. So I never know which one to choose, and then this orange one was just perfect because it matched with that little geometric pattern thingy I have there. So yeah, I just thought it was perfect. That's really got nothing to do with the spread. It's not ephemera, it's just this pattern. I like the border of the page, so I just kept it. and the border itself reminds me of what I'm going to be journaling about. That's why it's there. It's just a pretty thing. Okay, and then here it's a little drawing my nephew did, and then the back of it has some writing which has some stuff to do with what I'm journaling about. And then this is document paper, and the camera happened to blur at that very moment. It's all confidential information either way. So yeah, and I'm seeing what I can do, and I'm gonna fit everything into these few pages I'm gonna be working with. It was challenging, and my clumsy hands were fiddling around with everything, trying to make it work. And then that document which I trimmed down, I thought it would look nice on a backing, so I could write on the back of it, but like on a prettier paper than just a squashed up white paper. So I have this. It also has like geometric patterns, and I thought it would be perfect because the back of it is like faded whitish, but the pattern is still visible, so I could write on it. So I just, without hesitation, I just stuck that there onto it and folded it in half, and then I was deciding what to do with it later on. But that ended up giving me a bigger issue because now there were two geometric elements on the page, and to me they were just clashing with each other, and I was trying to find a way on how to make it look very normal instead of too overwhelming with all the solid colors and the geometrical kind of patterns. And then I wanted to include it as a flap somehow there, and then it just wasn't working. You can watch me struggle. I was so stubborn and so hopeless. Now that I'm like rewatching it, I'm just like, why was I fiddling with it so much? I could have just settled on something like quicker instead of insisting on somehow making it fit. Okay, so I decided that I was going to stick that geometric pattern there on the side, and once it was down, then I had no other choice but to move on with the rest of the spread. So I wasn't just stuck there for like 15 minutes trying to make it work. And then the other page, yeah, this washi tape, it's my favorite maroon washi tape. When it runs out, I don't know what I'll do, but I decided to add it, like to use it to add those papers as a flap. And about the geometric patterns which were clashing, I settled on using it this way, so the patterns on one page is vertical and then the patterns on the other side is horizontal. So it's geometric, but they're not exactly clashing because it's not like too full of the patterns. And then I fiddled with the tape because the tape was it wasn't wide enough, so it was only sticking on one side of the page, and then I peeled it off. So now obviously washi tape doesn't have that strong of a glue, so it kept on peeling off after that, and I fiddled with this next. It was like my next challenge. At least I got the layout done. Then on the other side, this was mostly just writing. I had a lot of writing to do about this, so I just wanted to decorate that orange page and write directly on it. So for some cute decorations, I just used that little mushroom sticker there, and then I wanted to put another sticker on like the bottom. And then I just looked through all of my stickers. Honestly, it felt nice to go through these after so long. I never journaled in a while, so I never used these, and then looking at them made me remember how nice it used to be when I used to use it. So I'll definitely journal more often. So I chose this leaf sticker, and that went there too on the other side, and I'll be journaling sideways on for the spread. Anyway, so moving on to the next page, then there was that little piece of paper where my nephew drew, like, he calls it an angry monster, but it's just a square with a sad face. But it was cute, so I wanted to add it. And then the tape was troubling me again because I peeled it off already once, so the adhesive in it was like kind of bad. So I used clear tape just to stick it down, and it's the first time I've used clear tape in any of my journals. And yeah, it felt weird because I don't usually use clear tape in any, like, it's literally the first time in all my like 7 journals that I'm actually using clear tape to stick something down. So now, turning the book sideways, I just went with brown pen and I wrote a lot, like a lot, like I wrote pages. If you actually count, I wrote like 3 pages of what's happening. It's actually a long story, and I just, after this, I felt that I still didn't have enough writing done, so I closed like the flaps and then went on to the previous page, under, like, on the orange page on the other side, and I wrote under there too, and I still felt like I didn't have enough space, but I decided to stop because 3 pages of writing is a bit too much. But yeah, it's a very dramatic event that's kind of happening now, and it's just added on and on and on, and now it's a long story. So that's all finally in the journal to remember forever. And then yeah, that day I just decided to stick it down with glue stick because it wasn't gonna stick on its own. And then again, there's these word stickers, and you know how these have like all these motivational quotes on them, like be strong and like all of these really motivational thingies. So I just took a few of them and stuck them down. Then over there I just wrote what it was about, and then I wrote about my nephew's little drawing. And then because it was so light, I didn't want it to fade, so I just went over it darker in a pencil. But that's exactly, like, I just followed over his lines, and that's basically the spread. Thank you for watching, and bye.